I mean, you mean to cut things like he's doing and just not only cutting the benefits, but the people who work in these different various departments. He's taking them away. So if you got a problem, you can't call nobody because he done took away all the staff, all of the support that those departments need. You need people to answer the phone calls. You need people to, when they answer, they have to answer the people's questions. So what he has done, he just snatched the whole thing away. It took away the program and the people who run these programs. So if everybody has a problem, they got nobody to go to. So what you have is just a chaotic state. And people are already suffering before that happened. But now they're going to suffer even more. Everybody's going to suffer because we didn't use our political our vote properly. And we voted for an idiot and put him in the White House. I mean, Social Security. These are things that people earn. It's not a handout. It's not just for people that work. Certain children with special needs and some of the seniors. They all Social Security pays for a lot of things that's needed in the society. So that's one way we can see clearly the halal attitude, the halal mindset. We need that. We need that mindset every phase in the community. What are you talking about? If you're talking about politics, business, whatever you're talking about, you're going to need people with that mindset. It won't be the things that they say and do is going to be pleasing to Allah. Yeah. See, they're going to check this out. They're going to say, "Wait, this is right with my Lord." And so, going back to the politics. I mean, we just have this is a very chaotic state. And right now, we have one. They just now me personally, I go back as far as John Kennedy. He was president. I can say from that point on, we ain't never seen anybody like this. It just don't care about nothing. Just tear up everything. Just tear it down. Now you always had different policy changes amongst people who ran for office and became president. Never anybody just run amok like this. Just tear everything down. No support, no backup, nothing. So that means we as a community, particularly African American community, we got to take on this halal attitude, and we got to apply to every aspect of our life. Right now we're talking about business, but that could also mean education. We're talking about politics. In each and all these various departments, we're going to need people in all those departments. Because you cannot have a community and you don't have and you don't have no water. No water. Here in the city of Philadelphia, the city workers, the people collect our trash. They were on strike. Now they finally ended the strike, and now they're still working on their contract. Now I think sometime this week, I think the union is supposed to vote, and then we'll know if the contract has been ratified. Then I'm hearing on the news today that the mayor said that now the police department, their contract is up. So pretty soon they want certain things. They're always around benefits and money, So that's right there alone. You need somebody that can think, that got the fear of God in them to be in that position. See? So you can't have an occupant like we have in the White House being the mayor right now. But that mindset, he wouldn't care about nothing. Let the trash pile up. And I'm saying that, I'm literally saying that figuratively. He let it pile up. Yeah. That's going to cause rats and bugs and everything else. But that mindset he has, he wouldn't care. But when you have when you try to apply halal to your life, You can't be acting like that. You can't be even thinking like that. You can't even entertain that thought that you don't care about nothing. And so, that's what's going on. All of the support staff is taken away. Social Security, Medicaid, all that. The people that work in the offices, you can't even call there and get no help. That's no way to run no country. You just cut everything off. And you don't care what the consequence is. So that means we as the folks, we as the common folks, who make up the public, we have to come together again with this allow mindset, and we got to do for self. The midterm elections coming up soon. That's in the Congress. Right now, the President Trump, he's seen him do what he wants. See, and now, some things was being done now. Like I said, we never saw it done before. Well, it's Allah's in charge, so allows not to put no more on us than we can bear. So, but at the same time, we still got to do for self. We got to work at this. Come next year, this is 2025, and by the year you get ready for the midterms. The Congress. That means you're going to have to, the Democrats, and I'll speak on them later because they got some problems too. You're going to have to. It's a must that the Democrats take control of the Congress. Then you have some check on what the current president is doing, and then that's just the start of it. Then it's more has to be done there, but the way things are going now, it's no check on that. Really, for real. And then when you have, then the politicians, again, I'm now speaking about the Democrats, the ones that the politicians that seem to speak up to be aggressive and have really say what needs to be said. The powers that be in the Democrat Party don't even want them to be out front. See, and that's the problem because they're the ones. Because right now, in terms of the general public, they don't see a fight coming from them. They see Trump doing what he want to do. Ain't nobody checking. And the policies that he's doing, man, is bad for everybody. So, as we sit there right now, and right now today, we got to see what part we're going to play in the political process. Well, some of that's because we're going to have to make a change. This can't keep going on like this is. Then once that's done, once if we take control of the Congress, then we got to look forward to the next presidential election. And really, all that's not that far away. Not that far. 2 or 3 years and go like that. But in the meantime, we got to be working together and trying to find out, trying to do all we can to see how we can make our lives better, even while we're dealing with the political fallout in the country. So we got to keep working. So it goes back to again, we need the businesses. One thing when they had the strike, seemed the trash build up. It was in certain neighborhoods that you see you see a lot of trash service in certain neighborhoods that no one would have been there. So that lets you know some of the basic things Just have your neighborhood clean. And when they came back, when they settled the strike, and they started to clean up everything, you see it made the neighbors look better because they had to clean up where the dumpsters were, and they was cleaning the whole blocks and see something basic as trash collection. Well, that's serious. Now that's let you know. Now that was just a couple of weeks. I just think we really have people collecting trash. The trash has to go somewhere. That's going to if you don't take away the trash, then it becomes a health hazard. So we have to go. We have to begin think about going into business, get involved in the political process, trying to elect people that have our best interests at heart. People that are going to do the right thing. People that are really going to try to help. They have a program to improve the schools. They got a program to so how they can uh, have a program for startup businesses. People want to go into businesses. Economic development. Probably going to bring some economics to particularly to the worst off communities, and that's the African American communities in most cases. You know. So these some of the things right now we can think about that we're going to have to we'll run for political office for Congress. That matter because Congress is. I think Dwight Evans here in Philadelphia said he's not going to run again. So right now you have different people already vying, jockeying to run for his office. So you definitely want somebody in there that's God conscious. Somebody's going to do the right thing for the people in the city. Somebody who's going to get up there and try to pass legislation that's going to help everybody. Somebody has a plan for education, plan for business, plan for safety. So we're going to need all those things. Right now, in the country, there have been a lot of people are fed up because they see now that the things that's basic and fundamental is just snatched away from it. Yeah. And it really ain't a color thing. People think it's just all African Americans, but no, there's a lot of white folks were getting those benefits. Some of those things are needed. Now, and that's sick that's been taken away. So what you have now, you have hospitals going to be closing. Well, they have closed in certain areas around the country. Now, hospitals closing. First of all, the people that can't afford the Medicaid, they can't even afford the benefits now because they took away the Medicaid, certain parts of it. It sounds like it's something that's basically fundamental, but it's serious, something that's needed. And the sad part is it didn't have to be. Because he pretty much told you what he was going to do before he ran. I mean, while he was running. He told you, before the election. All this could have been avoided. So that means, so we had some work to do. And talking about the politics. Because as always, you have to elect the right folks. That's going to do good by the people. So we just don't want anybody going into politics. If anything we learn by the current occupant in the White House right now, you have to look at somebody going to political office. You can look at his character, his platform, what he or she is going to do, their character, everything. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Muhammad Sharif. I see your hand is up.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Right. I don't know how much time we have on the program today. How much time do we have?
Would you have a few minutes?
Okay, I'd like to go directly to it. Say we're in politics, right?
Yes, that's one of the aspects. Yes.
Okay. And I like to say when we're pointing the finger, you know, when you point the finger, the biggest joint, the thumb is pointing back at us. Now, when Imam W.D., I know that the picture of the Imam W.D. Muhammad right behind your head there.
Okay.
Now, the whole world is watching us. Say, yeah, they say that Imam Muhammad was leader, but they did not support him. Now, the whole world knows this. Japan, France, England, everybody knows that we did not support Imam W.D. Muhammad the way we should have. When he came in, he told about shea butter. And now, I mean, talking about 20 years ago, everybody picked up shea butter, and almost all products today had shea butter in it. And we didn't support the shea butter. I remember Dr. Diaz, he had almost perfected the shea butter. And the man pointed to him saying, now the brother has almost perfected shea butter. We should support. And we didn't support the shea butter. And then, you know, it's the CPC. Imam told her, right, in 2003, he told us at the convention, and many people was at that convention. And that's when Imam, he said, do you know 80% of the imams do not support my leadership. And look like we support those people, that 80%, and not Imam Muhammad. Then Imam told us education, number one priority. How much support have we given to education? He went out community, the whole community, Imam Muhammad community, from north, east, south, and west. And we have only 5 full-time schools in this community. In some places, they do have a weekend school, what we call it a strong end school. And some places have a little bit. They have a after-school program that our children and Muslim children and other children can come to our school after school and learn something about Islam. So we haven't did hardly anything support education. And now we know that Allah rotates his community, his chosen. First, he given to the Jews, hypocritical Jews, not all the Jews, hypocritical Jews, they did not support Moses. And what happened? They got wiped out. Then Allah gave it to the Christians. The Christians did the same thing. They didn't support one God. They started putting up Jesus as God, as the Son of God, and all that. So Allah removed it from them, and gave it to the Muslims. Allah said, if you don't obey, I will raise another people who will obey. And look like that what has happened now, look like that's how, you know, the people of Noah didn't obey. They got wiped. The odd people didn't obey. They got wiped out. The Talmud. Now I'm saying there, and the Quran says generation after generation that did not obey, and Allah just wiped them out, generation after generation. And now what I'm saying now looks like, I knew Imam had made he had talked to Allah, he asked Allah, they're not supporting my leadership, and I'm going to ask Allah to punish our people. And Imam say, he said, I'm going to make a dua. I'm going to ask Allah to increase the punishment. Then the man say, oh, y'all are already being punished, but I'm going to pray to Allah to increase the punishment. for not supporting me. So the question is now, who Allah is going to listen to? Us or the Imam that he gave us? Maybe that's why President Trump is in leadership now. Because he know, and many of his staff know, many people know that we did not support Imam Muhammad. So now that's maybe why President Trump is in now. And doing
Assalamu
all
alaikum,
the
my
things
brother.
that
Assalamu
and
alaikum.
doing all the things that I'm finished right now. And doing all the things that he's doing because we did not support our leader. Thank you for taking my comments,
Yes, sir. Assalamu
brother.
alaikum. You're welcome.
Walaikum
Thank you.
assalam.
Okay, so now we're going to have PSAs.
Assalamu alaikum. Join us every Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern for an edition of the Halal Industry Do for Self with your host, Imam Wali, Ayyub Bilal, President, Founder, and CEO of Bilal's Inc., and co-hosts, James Bashir and Nate Muhammad. The interest of Bilal's Inc. is to establish economics for the African American people, descendants of the slaves of America. This program is to encourage people to unite and to build economic strength to establish community life by doing for self, to build the model community. Connect at am360.org and 24-hour streaming at 701-719-4197. American Muslim 360, the #1 Islamic radio station in the nation. Support Muslim Journal digitally or manuscript for both Muslim Journal is 60 plus years in excellence. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Sister Sherry. Yeah, so thanks for those comments, my brother. Again, we have some work to do here. Establishing this halal is something that has to be done. You know, see, we need people that's willing to stand up and do the right thing. That's what's going to be needed. See, so again, we're going to need people to really stand up and really be willing to do the right thing and do what's pleasing to Allah, before Allah. Because we're going to need this businesses. We're going to need. We're going to be going into politics. We're going to elect people that's going to have our best interests at heart. People that's going to they're going to do the right thing by the people. And then once we elect the people for the various offices, and then we have to hold them accountable. But then also we got to be accountable to ourselves. So we got to make sure that we doing everything we can. Not just voting in the political process. Make sure that we taking control of our own families. Make sure our children get educated, that they're being taken care of. Making sure we get out there and keep our house clean. Get out there and sweep the streets down. Something that sounds basic and fundamental. If those things is good, everybody doing that, then you have very little trash on your block. This is just a little basic stuff that we need to do, But in being about halal, we have to know that we have to be it's a constant struggle. Because trying to get this process, this halal industry going, getting everybody to conform to halal, it's going to be some work involved with that. And so we have to, and it's a constant process. Because you got various avenues, because it touches everything, every aspect of our life. You know? Yeah, so that means we have to be we all of us have to see ourselves getting involved in this process. Because you see, I'll be saying a lot about the politics, because a lot of that. See, and now if we were established economically strong, it still be some problems, but it would be better than it is if we were strong economically. You know, but some stuff is going on in the world today due to the man that's currently in the White House. You know, those are problems. You know, even some businesses are having problems. Certain things, certain structures are put in place to help not only the common folks, the working class, but also to help businesses thrive. Yeah, yeah. And so we got to, we have to see ourselves really to just uh, work in this allowed process. Yeah, that means from starting with ourselves and all our family members in the blocks where we live. People see us; they got to see us a person as being as honest, you know, respectful. Yeah. They see your children as being honest and respectful. They see you just being this a good guy, friend person. I mean, they ain't cause no problem. You trying to be a helpmate, a help to the community. Because of what's going on now, that's what we're going to need. We're always going to need Allah's help. But right now, we pretty much we ain't got no choice. We have to see ourselves, we going into business. Because we have to do for ourselves. There's a lot of stuff going on, and the law is allowing this to happen. So that shows that we got to pray to Allah, and we got to do our part. Yeah. If you see, and just like what Imam Bilal was telling me from years ago, that we ain't worried about what other people are doing. What we got to do is get our agenda out there. You know, get this allowed process going. You know, yeah. I mean, what are our plans? Get it out there. Yeah, we have a facility, man, but and there's always some obstacles in the way, but nevertheless, that we still persevering on because it has to come. We got to make it come into a reality. If not us, then the people coming behind us. That's the attitude you have to take. You can't take a defeative attitude out there with all these obstacles going on. There's a lot out there. I'm just dealing with the politics, and that's more to it. Just the politics alone. Man, if you have to fear Allah and you're determined to do the right thing, man, this stuff here will glob you up, man. Have you going crazy? I mean, literally. Because I tell you, we never seen anybody like this here before. But then Allah's God. Allah can do more than we can bear. You know, Allah can stop it if he wants to. He's the Lord of all the world. So look at it like that now. I mean, but still. You can't just sit there and just cry, No, we can sit there and cry and complain. No, we have to get our plan together. We already have the plan here. Halal. Right now, the character. We're talking about the businesses, the business aspect. If we need those businesses in our community, that's how the community can thrive. Now, if you support the businesses in your community, that means those businesses they can support the community and things the community need. I mean, you might want to start a baseball team, football team for the youth. Yeah. Businesses they can contribute money. You might want to take the seniors on a trip. You may want to start a school, build a school. Mm-hmm. And that's going to take money. But before that, you need the right plan now, curriculum, all that. First of all, you need the plan and staff, all that. You have people that's good in certain areas, Somebody's good at it, and you need and you're going to need the money. Because if you're talking about establishing things now, you can't be doing it halfway. I mean, the structure has to be sound. Everything has to be, uh, everything has to be laid out. And the people that's best suited to fit the different departments, I'm not an educated man, but I know you're gonna need somebody. You need a good staff. You're gonna need a principal. Somebody running the school. You'll need some form of counseling. You'll need security around the school. You need the maintenance staff around the school. If you're going to feed, you have lunches, you're going to need a cafeteria staff. Those are just basic stuff. A lot more than that. But I'm just those things those are things that we not just dreaming about. If it allows will, we're going to make that a reality. That's part of that business aspect. Halal. That's something that we got to do for self. So what's going on now? A lot of people have been laid off. Was what the president done? He just for no other reason just said he want that the mere fact that he can do it, he just went on there, just fired people. No, just fired him because he called himself he wanted to give a certain tax break to his billionaire friend, so he just fired people in Washington D.C., the post office, all those, the IRS, a lot of that work staff that work for the federal government, a lot of them are African American. Of course, a lot of times the better paying jobs they could get was with the federal government. See, and that's what those are jobs they got now. Now that President Trump came in there, he just laid them all off. Just laid them off, and that was a large bulk of the African American middle class. Those that worked in the federal government, because they couldn't get jobs in the private sector, so they got jobs with the federal government, like the post office. I have asked some friends that worked at the post office. Some of them were had supervisors and stuff. They making good income. Because one thing about the federal, state, and city government, and those type of jobs they have to have good benefits. Which people need. And that's another thing. When we talk about halal, it means we're going to need we need a hospital. Definitely, we're going to need doctors and nurses, dentists, and I forget the term you use, the guy that works on your eyes. All that. But it's going to take time. But those are things we really have to see that happening. Not a lifetime, and our children. Other words, we got to start laying the groundwork for it to happen. So when we start talking about when the people start taking on this halal attitude, this a mindset, that means what you're gonna have truthful people and you're gonna have honest people. Those are the people you want in the community, in the workforce. Those are people you want running city government. Those are people you want running state government. Those people you want running the federal government. Those are people you want to be your politicians. And not only that you want them to be your politicians, when you elect them to be your leaders, that means you will hold them accountable. Because they can't just be sitting around, because you're going to have to hold them accountable. So in the Congress now, they're talking about how they're going to deal with how they're going to best deal with the Congress, the Democrats. They're talking about how they can, because right now, all they can do is just they can talk, they can hold meetings, they can voice their opinion. I think they need to be a little bit more forceful. They have, I know they have 3 or 4 good speakers that can really articulate the concerns of other people. And I think what the people want to see, is they see some fight. I mean, you got to get up there and say something. And it seems to me that when they look at the ones that powers that be in the Democratic Party, they seem like the ones that's willing to speak up and speak out and really get out there and fight. They don't want them. So what you have now you got, that's another part of the problem now. That you have those that are in leadership. They don't want nobody who seem to be too aggressive. Yeah. But that's what you got to do now. Dealing with this current output in the White House, you can't just give up. So I mean, you got to be holding these meetings. You got to be, and really, you have to call them out for the stuff that they're not doing. And you just got to tell them that, because the average person don't understand. See, being allowed, I mean, you got to tell the truth. And basically, what they're doing is not right. But now, if you sit back and don't say nothing, you're almost just as bad. So the Democrats say too. They have some damn rules, so they got to do things better. And I think when they got to be more forceful against the current occupant in the White House. I mean, there's no way. I mean, you sitting around here, man. You don't say nothing, man. You got all these now. Bad as this bill was that was passed, hurting everybody. What they need to be doing, talking to Democrats now. All those Republicans who vote against their own constituents, their own people that put them in office. It's going to hurt them. This is basic stuff. Anytime we close down hospitals and doctors' offices, this is serious. And y'all sit there, and the Speaker of the House, his last name is Johnson. I forget his first name. His district. They should get right to his district and tell the people, your congressman voted to stop Medicaid. So he's he's responsible for these hospitals getting closed. These things you got to do when you're dealing with a tyrant. You just can't be trying to be cordial. No, you got to get out there and fight. See, this is what the people want to see. I mean, don't break the law or nothing, but you got to be you got to show some aggressive. You can't just be no, he's the president. No. Get out there and hold them people accountable. Let their constituents know that the reason why your hospitals are closed is because your congressman voted against that bill. See, that's when you get talking about what's being halal. See, that's what when you get that halal mindset out there, because it's just, it's fair. So when you elect those people in office, or matter of fact, if you didn't elect them, if the whole elective office and you in their district, still, You gotta let them know. Let them know when you don't like what they're doing. And for real, the next election come around, you gotta vote them out. Because you can't just keep sitting going through this stuff year after year after year. Then you don't never say that. Don't try to do nothing. Don't try to make no corrections. Yeah. So all around this country, is work got to be done by the common folk. Now, for those, because as bad as Trump is now, he told you what he was going to do. And man did not hide that. Now, you can't charge him with that. He didn't hide nothing. Everything he's doing, he told you what he's going to do. And some people still, when they're voting for that man, it's almost like committing suicide. But come another year, next year, you have a chance to correct it. You got to change this Congress. Stop getting them in check on Mr. Trump. Some things are going to take longer to get, like the Supreme Court. There has to be changes there, but that's going to be some work in progress there. That's going to take right now. First of all, you got to get the current president out of there before you can make any news. But after that, some change in the Supreme Court. But before you get to them, you got to get with these politicians. Anybody who voted for that bill, they got to be voted out. That's plain and simple. You ain't got to think about it. You got to vote them out with swiftness. Start with the Congress. And then when they're up for re-election, those are U.S. senators, when they're for re-election, you got to vote them out. All of them. Now, if you don't do it, then you can't, then you have to take some of the, you take some of the responsibility. Because you just can't keep going through it's every day. All this stuff these people are doing, and there's no check on it. No, the people, they work for the people, taxpayers, the people who vote them in the office. So the same way we voted them in, we're going to vote them out. Because we need because a lot of what they're doing really is a lot of harm. Now, since they have control of the Congress, and with the current occupant in the White House, all the checks and all the checks that you had to help the country out, they all going now. Something basic as the Environmental Protection Agency. They looked out for companies dumping oil in the water system. All these chemicals that's in the environment. I mean, burying chemicals in the land not too far from where people live, particularly African Americans. Yeah. So that's a long-term effect. Then you wonder in certain areas where they have a high cancer risk. That's because they've been dumping these chemicals in there for years. And the agency that's been responsible to check on it, this current president, man, he stopped it. So that means, so we got some work to do. Being halal. Going into politics. That means you want what you want to have is good politics. You want people that's going to do the right thing. So that means we got to start grooming out. We got to start beginning to groom our own people that's going to run for office. Some of our people that's in high school now, or some of our young folks are in high school, in college. We got to start grooming them to take on some of these offices. They got to be the city council people, the state reps, get on the school boards. We got to get on all those boards because that's where change is going to come. And those people, they know, and the people that are on those different agencies, on those different boards, school boards, that's a good board to be on. You take the policy how that school is going to be run. We're going to be teaching there. Anything that's not good for the school, that board can check it right there, make changes. So let's allow business, politics, good business. And when you're talking about being halal, but that means how you live your life. That means number one, you have to be truthful and honest. We can't have people just saying anything, saying one thing and doing something else. You ain't going to our politicians, but that's not just the politicians, but everybody. That goes everybody. You say one thing, then you turn around and do something else. Now we need people that's going to tell the truth all the time. That's going to work to do right by everybody. Okay. So that means we want businesses in our community. That means we want people that's going to be truthful and honest. You know, people that are going to hire people from the community to work in their business. People that are going to take some of their profits and invest it back into the community. It could be programs for our youth, whatever's needed. I'm just saying that for whatever. I mentioned youth. A lot of our youth play sports. Yeah. So we're going to need good, honest people to make this halal mindset, this process, to spread it throughout the whole community. But you have to be, but it's not for the people that have. I mean, you want things done in a hurry. I mean, if you got no patience, and it's gonna be like that. It's gonna work it when Allah says it's gonna happen. Yeah. What we're gonna do is just keep working hard and remain steadfast, stay on that straight path. Keep keeping that halal mindset. Keep trying to reach the goals that we want to reach. Mainly, we're talking about business. And we need all types of business. Because when we begin to establish businesses, that means we're going to have schools, of course, housing. We may even have housing for seniors. So when we start to establish those things in our community, we're going to need a security force. Just like the colleges have. Temple has their own police force. St. Joe's, all these colleges, they have their own police force. So, as a matter of fact, one of my grandsons, he just got hired about a couple of months ago. He got hired by the Tuskegee University Police Force. Yeah. So in making this allow camaraderie, man, this is a big thing. Nothing small about this. Yeah. But it's going to take time to get it done. And you just can't be you just can't just get impatient, just fed up, say, oh man, ain't nothing happening right now. I just give up. No, you don't want to do that. That's what Shaitan wants you to do. Once you get fed up, just throw your arms up. Okay, we will now have some comments and PSAs.
Assalamualaikum. We like to be able to send our condolences to Brother Jihad, and let him know he's in our thoughts and our prayers. Also, Imam Bilal, surgery went very well. He is recovering and he is looking forward to joining back in on the discussions over the next couple of weeks. CWSC, Model Community, National Resource Directory, the MCNRD is where you can connect with resourceful people willing to dedicate volunteer hours to assist you in your efforts of nonprofit or for-profit interests. Individuals with more social concerns can connect you with our volunteer human resource network. CWSC's VHRN information can be shared as to who, when, or where to get the services you need. Join CWSC today. Go to cwsc.us and click on Join CWSC. Do not forget to click on the blue donate button while on our website. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, so again, so the work continues. He's on this vein about the politicians. We got a lot in terms of that politics. We got a lot of work to do locally, in all our areas. But again, that first part is going to be, I think, the first chance to get some. Assalamu alaikum, brother Nate.
Walaikum salam, James. I'm sorry it took too long, but I got in. I'm here.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam, brother Brian.
Assalamualaikum. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm good.
I don't see where to raise your hand, so I just reached out.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Brian, you want to make some comments? Brian.
Yes, sir.
You can make some comments now.
Yes, sir. All right.
Good.
Real briefly, what I just wanted to talk about actually today was this. I heard some of your comments, and with voting and things like that, I think the chaos that we're seeing now is the result of us going against our nature, going against how we were created to be. We have to begin, actually, we must begin to operate by choice and not by chance. Again, we have to operate by choice and not by chance. I am pro-choice. Let me say that again. I am pro-choice. That has nothing to do with the issue of abortion. Those are euphemistic names that they pulled out, pro-choice, pro-life, things like that, to divide us, to separate us, to get us on different sides of some fictional, adversarial, confrontational situation. And that was a mouthful. But all I'm saying is this, is that many of us take a chance when we should be making a choice. We take a chance on a politician. Oh, maybe he's going to do something. But look at the chance we just gave someone who had a chance and failed miserably just a few years ago. And yet we're willing to give them another chance. It's ridiculous. If you don't make the choice yourself and you relinquish your ability to choose, then guess what? Shaitan will step in and choose for you. our father Adam decided to take a chance and tasted of the forbidden fruit, even though he was promised nothing really from Shaitan. He was actually lied to by Shaitan. He took a chance and the chance was wrong. Should have made a choice to follow what Allah said. Allah said, listen to your avowed enemy and do not eat from this tree. That should have been sufficient. To put it bluntly, mankind is the only creature given the ability to choose. Birds can't, lions can't, elephants can't, ants can't. None can choose except man. Now, many of us think we think animals can choose. They're choosing. And the reason why we think that is because we have anthropomorphized, if I said that word correctly, the animals and made them or given them human characteristics. So much so that sometimes they feed animals things that are not good for them and cause them illnesses and sometimes death, because we have anthropomorphized them and given them characters so that they can be our best buddy, our pal. I don't go anywhere without my pet. We think that by giving them these characteristics, it makes it, I guess, acceptable. But only because you have domesticated the animal do they appear to be human-like. You begin to feed them your food. You let them live in your house, and they even develop diseases like mankind, cancers, etc. Animals, by their very nature, are instinctual. When they have a puzzle look on their thing, their instincts kick in and tell them what to do. Mankind has instincts, but we have a superior intellect that will supersede our instincts. This is why we are able to domesticate animals, and no animal has domesticated us as of yet. We want to believe that Fluffy is just like us. But if any animal was just like us, it would no longer be an animal, it would be a human. We have got to stop taking a chance on other people, a chance with our lives, a chance with our children's lives, by refusing to make a selection and throwing the dice, if you will, as to what will happen to you in the future. You cannot be a Muslim by chance. There is no compulsion in religion, so you have to choose the religion of Islam. To be a Muslim, you have to choose. There are hundreds of thousands, well, actually millions, over in Middle Eastern countries with Islamic names who have chosen the religion of Christianity. We would be mistaken to assume that everyone over in the Middle East is Muslim. It's not, or actually it is. When we see them come over here, we go under the presumption because their name is Abdullah or Muhammad, they must be one of our brothers in faith. It turns out often they are not. But because we are taking a chance that they might be, they could possibly, and some of them have, led some of us astray because they have command of the Arabic language. They're in the land of Quran, so they have heard and probably read some Quran. And if they have nefarious designs, they could come over. Oh, brother, you're not doing this the correct way. You must do it this way. And so we take a chance, even though we've been Muslims, some of us 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Someone comes over and sounds like what we think a Muslim sounds like, and dresses like we think of Muslims to dress like, and tells you he's from the Middle East, and right away, we're willing to take a chance that they can help us with our religion. And if they tell us we've been doing it wrong, we change right away. And if they had this kind of influence in their native land, they would still be in their native land. I have nothing against non-indigenous Muslims. I just feel as though some see us in an other than brotherly manner because of the narrative that has gone all around the world about this black man, this African American, and how you must deal with him. You must be harsh with him. And you know, they don't really have the real religion. They're not really on the hawk, as they put it. Who was this Elijah Muhammad? Listen, you decide who you are. You must decide who you will be, where you will live, how you will dress, what you will do and what you won't do. We can't leave that thing to chance anymore. We left it to chance, and now politicians are overriding the so-called Constitution that's supposed to govern these United States. We left it to chance, and there were some who were willing to step in, or they were not qualified to step in, to take advantage of the God-fearing people who thought, well, he smiles nice, he's got his hair done nice, he dresses right, he sounds right, I'm going to take a chance. No, make the choice. Decide who the politician is. Decide how they voted in their previous engagements, whether it was councilman or mayor or whatever. Decide how they are going to govern. Then make the selection, make the choice. Don't randomly take a chance that things might work out. Now, there is always a risk in every choice you make, but at least you've decided. And if you decide, you can also come back and undecide or re-examine the choice you make and make a different selection. But if someone else has made the selection, how are you going to go back now and say, well, you know what? I didn't make that selection. I was counting on so-and-so to make it for me. Not knowing that so-and-so was being paid by operatives to convince us to do a certain thing in a certain way. There are Muslims, I believe, in Michigan that were talked to by the current occupant of the White House and told them how he was going to end the war in Gaza and end the suffering of the Muslims in Gaza. Virtually from day one, all they had to do was put him in office. And instead of making a choice, they took a chance and voted for him. How many more Muslims have died in the months that transpired after he was in office? Do not take a chance on a liar turning into a truthful person. Do your homework. Do your due diligence and make the selection that is best for you, your family, your neighborhood, your state, your country. If you do the right thing, it will reverberate virtually all around the world. If you do the wrong thing, the suffering will reverberate around the world. Through the internets and the social medias, the world is now combined. You can speak to someone from your house in Atlanta, in Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Chicago, and they can hear you in China. They can hear you in Russia. They can hear you in Egypt. We're joining our minds collectively together, and we're finding out truths about ourselves that certain people did not ever want us to hear, did not ever want us to know. This is our time. Allah made a promise to us. The mu'min, the believers, will eventually win. They will win. That's his promise to us. Those people who are accustomed to taking a chance, they don't hear win, W-I-N. They question win, W-H-E-N. Now, who are we to question Allah? He said, you will win out eventually. That should be enough to make us stand up straight and tall, confident in abilities and confident in what he gave us to win. The mu'min will win. Instead, Shaitan whispers so that we are speculating, hesitating, doubtful. Well, you said what? Win? Or do you mean win? W-H-E-N. Do not confuse the two. If Allah says you will win, don't worry about the win. Just know that you will win and act accordingly. Remove the hesitation, remove the speculation, remove the doubt from your actions, and they will see that you are serious and can no longer play games with you. They give us narratives, and they spread narratives about us. The narratives that they've been spreading about us are false, but the narratives that they've been spreading about themselves are even more false, if that's proper English. They're not genuine at all. But if I can declare that I am Superman, and they're doing this, they're in Comic-Con conferences all around the country. They come in costume and cape and everything and declare themselves these superior individuals, which children often do. They can get people to follow them, to believe in them. Yeah, he's a strong man. He's a good guy. Listen, a lot of the people that we're addressing as strong and intelligent, there's no such thing. It's propaganda that they put out to get you to follow them. Follow them. Why? Because we're looking for good leadership. In a time of confusion and chaos, we're all looking for leadership. Someone to lead us out of the chaos, out of the degradation that has become the earth. The earth in and of itself is great. Mankind has added confusion. Mankind has added pollution. It's as if we're trying to destroy the gift that was given to us by the Creator, which we can't do, but it's as if we're trying to destroy it. It's as if we're trying to destroy each other. We're creating wars now that have no sense of existing. There's no reason for the war, except war is profitable. Except war is profitable. Again, I will conclude. Let us begin to live our lives by choosing the life we want to live. Do not ever again live by chance. Oh, well, I just hope it happens. Or I think it might happen. No, I've selected what's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, that's the qadar of Allah. And there's nothing you can do about that. However, you did at least fulfill your obligation by taking the time to do the due diligence, to do your homework, to find out what the right selection was, to find out what the truth is. Mankind is supposed to ascertain the truth and then make your decision based on that truth, not the lies that you've been told, not the lies you've been asked to swallow, the actual factual truth. Because if you do, you have a significant chance of being successful. You have a significant chance of being what you were created to be. And it opens up all kinds of avenues for you to get back home to gender. But if you're just going to allow it to be a random selection, well, I don't know, man. I guess that's all right. Have you made yourself worthy of gender? That's food for thought. So again, don't question when. Just know that you were promised to win. And don't think that you can't win until you actually decide to win. You don't know what's going to happen. Make the decision and continue to do so. Even when the task in front of you is ended. Allah says, what? Labor hard still. Keep choosing, keep selecting. Select who's your friend. Select who you'll be around. Select what you'll do. Select what you won't do, but you select. And verify it with the kitab of Allah. Verify that you are a mu'min. Raise up the frequency by the frequency of what you do, and we will be in alignment with our beliefs, and our beliefs will carry us through this chaos that we find ourselves in today. We can get out of it. Just choose correct. This is Brian Ali. I hope my words didn't irritate anyone, and I hope they were inspirational, and I hope you take heed to what I said. I said them with the greatest intent of being helpful and not hurtful. And with that, I will leave you as I greeted you with greetings of peace, i.e., Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much, Brother Brown, for those comments. At this time, Brother Nate, are you there? Brother Nate.
Yes, I'm there. I'm here.
Okay, brother.
You hear me?
Yes, sir. Okay, you can. The phone is yours now.
Whoa, I'm coming in behind Brian. Oh, that's a hard task, but alhamdulillah. For Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. I'd like to just apologize for coming in late, but we was wrestling with the phone. We finally figured out how to make it work. But in the meantime, I couldn't help it. I know Brian always come with some nourishment that have your mind moving and give you something to food for thought, give you something to think about. Mm-hmm. But I will just want to elaborate with something I brought to the attention last week. And I had the opportunity to get in dialogue with some of the brothers in reference to it. And that was, as I said, we was on our way to the cemetery at a janazah, and the brother mentioned about somebody mentioned to him about a Messiah is coming back. And, yes, and I first thing my mind was, no Messiah coming back. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, was the seal of the prophet. And they were detained that nobody is coming after him. But after elaborating with the brothers, that's part of what they've been taught. They was taught that somebody coming back, a Messiah to slay the Antichrist. I said, whoa, if we lead with what Allah wants and do things ensure, we'll slay anything that come across the board. That was my thought. I said, now, you might believe that, but I can't accept that. I respect that's what you believe. That's what you believe and you feel strongly about it. Alhamdulillah. But I can't accept it. Because I was told ain't nobody coming back. I'm sitting here listening to you, and my mind went straight to, I heard a lot of Christian mention about the Messiah coming back. Somebody's coming back. No, I can't accept that. And I asked them, well, what are we in the religious for? Especially us, the African-American descendants of slaves, we had to get into religion, hopefully, to change the condition of our heart. Our life, we can't progress as a people, as a community, until we change that condition of our heart. That's what I was telling them. Well, I'm moving off my heart. I ain't moving off some myth or whatever somebody said. I mean, we done grew away from that. This is real. Everything is real. What's going on around us is real. And if we don't learn how to read the signs of the creation, we're going to be complaining about all the crimes that's going on. And if we read the signs of the creation, we learn that we have to rally as one. We have to be able to depend on others to help do for ourselves. That's what's on my mind. And I'm not worrying about somebody as coming to fight the Antichrist. I'm not worrying about him. Man, he's so far away from my mind, it's a shame. That's the struggle that lies ahead for us. How are we going to rally together as one with the law out front? That's what Imam Muhammad left me with from what I see. Lead with what Allah said and do everything in shore. That was a big, heavy burden off my back because back then I was trying to figure out how we going to do this thing without no malice. And that there came in and it stands out in my mind right to the day. And that is the main thing that fueled my self-movement, interacting around the masjid and dealing with the people. Halal. That is the way we got to go. We done came out of the midst of the haramness. It's time to start building everything around halal, but it all starts with your heart. And if you haven't cleaned that out yet, still got some work to do. As James said, still got a lot of work to do. Yes, we got to start working on our heart.
I mean,
how are we going to establish and give our life to Allah if He don't have our attention? We can't sit up here and say we Muslim, we going to pray to Allah as brothers came in the masjid smelling all like marijuana. How can you pray smelling like marijuana? I mean, coming in there with the weed thing. I said, you got to clean that up. This is why the road we came, we had to clean our life up. We had to get all the blight out of our life. So therefore, when we go up against our Lord, it's sincerity. One thing I've learned from a lot of the imams that's been close to me, they establish sincerity. I've seen their sincerity. And that's coming from their heart. That ain't coming from their back pocket, their little inside coat pocket. That's coming from their heart. That sincerity breathes from that heart of yours. When you can sit up here and not force your ideology on someone, as well as somebody forcing their ideology on you, you can stop it. There's a meaning. There's a standing that we have that fortify our whole makeup. But it starts with our heart. We look at each other now, our people, and even the world. It's cold. It's very cold. And if you sit down and you talk to them, they got a lot of pain, suffering in their heart. And who's the one that had the most pain and suffering than any other ethnic group than us, the African American descendants of slaves? And if we can rebound from all that and clean our heart up from the pain and the struggle, The only thing that offset that is we have to move as one. And if we move individually, we're subject to go through the same old thing over and over and over again. And this is why we sitting back with the halal industry. And I thank the Imam Wali Ayyub Bilal for instrumentally being patient with everybody until we understood what he was talking about. He's the one who was instrumental in establishing that, especially the unification first. He was always in the forefront for the African American descendant of slaves, and in the forefront protecting the right of the Muslim. Through his sincerity. Through his sincerity. How do I know? Because I was right there with him. I seen it. I used to scratch my head. Man, you crazy. No. I believe this. And when he sat back and talked about and explained about his father and all that, I seen where it came from. This man is sincere. We can learn from each other. Some of that stuff rub off from him on me. I take it. I need it. And when I walk in and deal with, around Philadelphia next year, there's a lot of different ideologies. You have different communities comes through there. And we interact because of the oneness of law. You ain't got to like them. But we can respect them to do what Allah wants. As long as we do what Allah wants, we always be oneness. We can always build the oneness. Now, whatever you believe, that's on you. Maybe I'm wrong in saying this and all that, but as of right now, that's my stand. Until you prove it, you prove to me. If I see it, I'll submit, because I walk in everything with an open mind. I'm not closed-minded. But if I see something and I know what I'm looking at, I know what I heard, I'm going to take a stand for it. My stand is that I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to accept it. You don't have to accept it. But I'm not going to accept it. That's what you believe in. And this is what I build everything around. And as we move and we moving sincerely, dealing with the people. You got all kinds of ideology bouncing off the wall in the match here. You have to have some kind of structure so we can define and measure our growth and development. We've already been on the road of our growth and development. We can define it. All we have to do is reflect back to when we came through the nation, how we cleaned our life up. And then we came with Imam Muhammad, how we established and became a believer. And now we support and follow what Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, said. Now how he want to do? He want to build and do everything collectively as one. That's where we strive. We came from one stage to another stage. And we had some baggage with us. But you can let some of the baggage, if it ain't going to help you out, leave it alone. Let it go. Let it go. You go on to the next stage. Take the good out of it and leave the rest of that stuff back there. We don't need it. If you can't use it, leave it alone. Let it go. And this is how we grow. And this is how we have grown from one stage to another. Now, we come in halal. We come in to show what we know. We can tell you the road we came from and the trials and tribulation that we encountered. We can talk about that because we got the mental scars to back them up. And we had people that was among us, sincerely looked over us, supported us. And that's why we still take that same stand. We have to take the stand and look over the mess here and continue to take care of that. Brother said we was at the janazah. Why you at the masjid? This is what we call giving back. This is what we call sharing what we learned. We learned a hell of a lot around the masjid. That kept the blight off your back until you could build the will up to deal with it. That was the whole purpose of being around the masjid. When you come in here, Shaitan stops at the door. If you ain't all involved with him, you can't come in here too much. If you're still involved with him, you got to shake him a little bit, back him up before he can come in here with us. This is why I'm very enthused about this halal industry, because I understand the direction where we go. We have a direction. We have a plight. We have principles to get there. How are we going to get there? We come in the masjid, they say, what we going to do? Where you want to take the people? Well, we want to take them halal. We want to take them halal. Be halal. It is not about meats. It's a lifestyle. It's an attitude. And it's a way of life. And we're growing from one stage to another. And how are you going to deal with all this when you're surrounded by all this mischief? Well, if we grew up in it, we already know what we done came through. We already know. We've seen the outcome of a lot of stuff. And so we know, through the grace of Allah, what not to do. Allah showed us all that. This is what I mean about the signs of the creation. Allah showed us all the wrong. And we understand it was wrong because we was right there in it. And how we done grew away from it. And now, it's time to reach back and grab your other brother. Be that example for them. Because that's all. It's all about you being an example. We can't force our ideology on you. We can't make you do nothing, make you believe us and follow us. But we can be an example, the best example that we can be. And as long as we that example, we can check anything that come across the board that we don't appreciate. Not looking to be clashing. It's just that we have to stand firm in our conviction. And if you establish things in your heart, you're going to protect it. Remember, the Muslim is the protector and the maintainer of whatever he established. That's the Muslim. And the same way he established it, the same way he's going to protect it. Nothing changed. You see the same people growing up there, and see the same thing when you get there. This is why we want to stand firm with this halal industry. Yes, at times we might be at an intermediate stage, but everything starts off small. I told you I have a background in construction. Everything before the building took its shape and form, we was up there reading blueprints. We was up there reading what we supposed to do. We was preparing ourselves for when the curtains go up. And this is how we going about patience. One of our greatest weapons. We be patient, persevere in the prayer. This is how Allah said we will stand his test in any test. Be patient. With our patience, our greatest weapon is our patience. And the perseverance comes from your understanding. If you know what you're looking at, there's always you can set up everything to how you want it. This is why, again, a lot of people the messages today are very empty because society got their attention. And once society, now I know what James was talking about, the politics. I know what he was talking about. He's been talking that for the last 20 years. So I know that when the politicians and all these things that's going on, we have to take our stand. But the first stand is within yourself. Allah says, save yourself first from the hellfire, then your family, and your community. You have to get yourself together. And if we're going to establish this halal industry the way Allah wants, not the way I want, it's what Allah wants. I'm just one of the vehicle to help bring it about. That's all I am. I'm not going to stand here. Y'all ain't going to do this. Y'all take the highway. Oh, it's my way. No, you never see me talking like that. No, you stay humble. Stay humble. Because the law is in control of this. All the way across the board. I don't care what's going on outside. I don't care how mad it might look and be. But regardless what plan they had, the law is the best plan. And that's what I believe. Because I've seen that I take that weight off my back. I can get that. I'm not a law. You got it. I'm just a servant. I do my part. The best thing I can do. The best ability I can do, I share. And I want us to share with the people. That's his creation. Society is killing the people. That's Allah's creation. It's not man. Man don't have the right to destroy the welfare of the people. He didn't create the people. He don't have the aware about when a person's time will expire. He don't know that. How he gonna put himself in that predicament like he think I'm God? I can do what God wants. No, you can't. This is why I was saying about a Messiah. No, you can't come talking to me about no Messiah. You know, what did God say? Did God say anything? Did the prophet say anything? Did any of the leaders say anything? This is something that came out of nowhere. Something that somebody put together. And I hope the people will follow it. But if people don't know, they're going to jump on it until they know. I guess it was meant for us to put a stop to it, because when I first mentioned it, because I'm the one who brought it up to the brother, I realized that, no, that's what we believe. Oh, yeah, is that right? Look, the only common denominator I got with any of y'all is land that had the law. I'm down our soul. All of it. We was on hides, everybody. We didn't know who was rich or poor. We could see if you was short or small or tall. We could see that, but we didn't know who it is. Everybody looks the same. That neutralized everything. And everything went smooth as it could be. And this is how we same thing want to establish that same criteria. As long as we build everything around what the law wants. Nobody is greater than Allah. Nobody's coming with what Allah or something other than what Allah says. Nobody's coming in. As of right now, that's just me. I can be wrong. And like I say, you can correct me. I can be corrected. I don't have a problem with that. But you have to clarify it. Can't take me on an emotional roller coaster. Can't take me on a magic carpet ride around the mulberry bush. You have to be straight with me. You have to be straight. I'm not playing games with this. This guy, I don't play with this religion. I take it very serious, because in order for me to get to where I'm at today, I had to get serious with it. And you can't come to me with any old thing out of the ordinary, because I'm not going to accept it. I'll tell you that right now. And they already know that over there. But I'm your brother. I still have the love for the Muslims. I have the love for the African American descendants of slaves, because I understand the plight that we came. That's what opened my heart to them. When we look at it, you know, and walking in it, I don't need you to direct me on how we want to do this. I already have an idea. Best thing you can do is roll with me or get out the way. Because when it's time to move, we moving out. And it's coming real fast because of all the chaos that's going on out here. Our biggest change, our biggest struggle, our biggest challenge is dealing with our people, African Americans, descendants of slaves. This society out here already either waiting on you to come or worrying about whenever you come. We busy arguing about little things that don't mean nothing, that's not going to help mankind as well as our own kind. This is very important. This is where we come in at the masjid. Everything starts with Allah's name. I came to find out, coming through a lot of things that goes on outside, it all started through religion. Started with religion. We go back to the civil rights era. Oh, it started in the church. They organized and got everything in the church. It came through the church. The church was the one that organized all that back then. And I said, man, that's right up with what I'm thinking about. Started, and whether they knew it or not, Allah's hand was all on that. Allah's hand was all on it. The media try to dress it up or tear it down. But the people moved off of what was in their heart. You could see the sincerity that they encountered going through that. And this is why it's important when we sit here and we talk. We're not talking to argue. We always ask you to share your experience, your understanding, how we can manufacture a blueprint to move out on this evening. Just a matter of time. We're getting there, and we just have to be a little bit more patient. Brother asks you, do you think you're going to be around to see this? I don't know. I don't have control over it. Whenever it's my time, that's my time. I remember some of the elders back in the day. I used to drive them around, take them to some of the Imam Muhammad functions. And they always used to ask me, Brother Nate, all I want to do is see our people come together. Come together. Because I see you're going to be waiting a long time because they're so far apart. But that was in their heart. And none of them say, and the Lord done called them back and they done did their part, and they are our ancestors now. And I reflect back to them because they were sincere. They touched you with their concern, what they really believe in. I'm sure they did du'as all on it. I know they did. And this is the same thing right now. Whether I see it or not, I know it's going to happen. Because I know Allah's in charge of this. And this is why we look forward to every week to share our ideology with you. Not to force it on you, not to make anything or make you do it or shame you. No. Just to share with you. Sharing our wealth. We can sit down and share the wealth. That's what the greatest thing, Imam. I remember one of the greatest things, I'll say that. Lead with Allah is do things for sure. That's how you deal with a group, especially men. That's how you deal with them. Now, the African American descendants of slaves, well, still got some work to do with them. But that is nothing that we ain't seen before. But why? Because we migrated right from under them, right out of them. When we look at them, we're looking at ourselves, how we either used to be or how we are right now. The only difference between now and back then is that Allah touched your heart. At least He touched mine. I can only speak for myself in that manner, and all the brothers that surround us. We all feel the same way about everything, and that's why that camaraderie is very great. And the community, the Philadelphia Masjid, is aware of that. You know, they always label us as Imam Bilal guys. That's the Imam Bilal guys. And we proudly did. Yeah. Yeah, that's our legacy. And then Imam, and when they talk about Imam Bilal, they say he's Imam Wali Muhammad God. So that lifeline is always there. It's going to always be there. That's why coming in behind him is an honor. Look forward to doing it. Because I appreciate the road we came. And I thank Allah for granting us the opportunity to be around people that help inspire us. We have to learn to feed off of each other, not to criticize each other, complain about each other. We feed off it. See a person's strength and see the force that's moving behind them. Let's get behind that. That's going to help us. That's going to make us a better person, a better family man, and a better person within the community. This is where we after, building and establishing halal atmosphere. That's that model community we keep talking about. That's what the eye on the prize. We're keeping our eye on the prize. That model community, having an atmosphere that, hey, you can come in if that's what you believe in, as long as we still submit to La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. That is the thing that checks everything across the board. That's the one that determines if we're going to be successful or not. I remember on Highs, I was talking to these brothers from Bosnia, and they told me that, they got away from doing what the law wants. And that's when all the hell broke loose against them. And I said, is that right? Because I heard something like that before from somebody else. And wow, that means as long as we stay in accordance with Allah, we're being protected. When we walk around in this same street, you're not walking by yourself. It's Allah in you, not you and Allah. Allah in you. He the one protects you. When he's ready to take you, he takes you. But in the meantime, he's going to protect you. So I know this, and that's how I move with it. This is what we have to do to build that camaraderie, get the elder brothers back in the community, to share their understanding, share their experience. They had one brother, I think he's about 82, 83, and he's told me he's sitting here waiting on Allah to call him. No! Come on, man, the ministry. Let's tell your stories. Let the people hear what you've been through. I remember as kids, when you sit back and you listen to the adults, they just inspire your mind. It rejuvenates you to get you thinking, oh, I want to do that. I would like to be like that. This is important, that we can sit back and talk. And plus, give you something to do. This is what and tell you, that's my whole objective around the next year, to get the people back involved in doing what Allah wants. It's a challenge, it's a struggle. But it's nothing we hadn't seen before. Nothing we hadn't seen before. And this is why we look forward to seeing this. I love sitting back listening to a lot of the imams and they tell their stories. And back then with the minister telling their stories, I enjoyed every bit of it. Because I can learn from it. I can take some of the stuff from his experience and utilize it with mine. You learn from your experience and other people's experience. And if you never listen to nobody, you'll never learn nothing. That's what I was taught. And I take heed to that. The conversation, I ain't never was shy away from conversation. And listening to the people. And I also, when it's time to move and do something, get something done, it's time to move and get something done. We can't just continue to talk. And Allah's going to send us our help to work. He's going to send it. I already know that. It's never a doubt on my mind. Never a doubt on my mind. But we have to get our attitude together. We change the condition of our heart. We change that attitude within ourselves. That's the whole thing that's stopping us, holding us back, is our attitude. A lot of people say the finance and education.
Assalamu alaikum, Nate.
No. Nice
Nate.
line.
It's 5
Yes.
so we got to get ready to sign off, my brother.
All right. See, they're kicking me out now. That's what I get for coming late. Alhamdulillah.
Yes, sir. It's real good, my brother.
Alhamdulillah, I appreciate it, and
yes, sir. We appreciate
like
you.
I said, huh?
I said we appreciate you.
I look, it's the believers. Those are the ones that motivate me. You understand? We see the sincerity in their eye. As soon as you look in their eye, look out for them. Just like you can look at somebody in their eye, they cold-blooded. Watch that guy. He up to something no good. You can see.
Okay, Nate, we got to sign off.
Yeah, with that, I thank you for granting me an opportunity to run off my chops. You understand? And I hope I didn't offend nobody. And if I did, you can ask you forgive me, because my intention has always been a humble servant.
Yes, sir.
With the brother, for the sake of the Lord. So
yes,
I'm
sir.
turning this over. All right, James, you got it. I'm out.
Okay. All right, my brother. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you everybody for tuning in this weekend. We read this PSA real quick. Join CWSC today. Go to cwsc.us and click on Join CWSC. Do not forget to click on the blue donate button while on our website. Join us every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for an edition of the Halal Industry Do For Self with your hosts, Imam Wali Ayyub Bilal, President, Founder, and CEO of Bilal's Inc., and co-hosts, James Bashir Nate Muhammad and Brian Ali. The interest of Bilal's Inc. is to establish economics for the African-American people, descendants of the slaves of America. This program is to encourage people to unite and to build economic strength, to establish community life by doing for self, to build the model community. We thank everybody for tuning in this weekend. Inshallah, we'll talk again next week. Assalamu alaikum.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Let's go ahead and open up. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We're getting ready to start. I believe Narrative Aspirations was a previous host. Did they close out already? Because I don't hear anything, and I want to make sure I give them that respect. Obviously so. Then we're going to move forward. All right, so let's go ahead and open up with our Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Waladdallin. Ameen. All right. With Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. Praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of all the worlds, most gracious, most compassionate, master of the day of judgment. Thee alone do we worship, and thee alone do we ask for help. Guide us on the straight path, the path of those on whom thou hast bestowed your favor and grace, those whose portion is not wrath, and on those who go not astray. Ameen. Welcome to Narrative Aspirations. When we aspire, we go higher. This is Sister Khalidah Akbar, and I'm thankful and grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity to come together with a good purpose in mind, right? Fisabilillah, looking for opportunities to share with our ummah the knowledge and life lessons that we have learned. And also, this is an interaction. and engagement. So we would like to hear from you as well. Today we have back with us a very special guest, Imam Shahid Abdullah, who is an African-American griot. He's the author of several books based on culture and everything concerning the productive lifestyles of African Americans, and also the way homework. They're broken into decades. We have 3 decades beginning from 1975 to 1985 and so forth. And they are going to be interactive. However, those of you who are joining, make sure you also do your homework, because each segment will also have a Q&A, question and answers. And every decade is going to do it a little differently. Some people may have it coming up on a board, but the intent is to inform and engage the listeners. Okay, it's just not you come listen to lectures. So be prepared, do your homework, contribute, because we have a lot of young adults who are listening and learning about the legacy of Imam Wardi Muhammad, and why we focus so much energy on preserving that legacy and putting those instructions and that tafsir into practical application. We need to know that, and they want to know that. So we're going to go ahead and open up with Imam Shahid Abdullah. Looks like we may have a hand up already. Could you hold? No, hold on. Thank you. Welcome, Imam Shahid Abdullah. And if you would so kindly go ahead and give us a brief overview of your mission and who you are and what you're going to share with us tonight.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Khalidah, and your guests. I'm very glad to be with you this evening. Well, as you said, I am Imam Shahid Abdullah, the African Bilali and American griot. And I want to just open with the greetings of peace. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbi Alameen. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu Muhammadin naduhu wa rasuluh. I greet you in the greetings of peace of Assalamu alaikum. It's a wonderful thing we are going through here in this day and time, and definitely bringing our attention to the works of Imam Wardi Muhammad. I like to think of his efforts to be the works and the learning time that the people had here in America, and to bear witness to what Allah can do. When Allah does a thing, he brings it into existence. And in the Quran, Allah says he will bring forth and raise a witness in every ummah, and that means that everyone will be subject to have the opportunity to witness someone who is bearing witness to Allah and his messenger and the things that have been done. And they would be bearing witness in the truest of sense, not just a writer or lecturer, not just that, but one who has looked and been able to see what Imam Wardi Muhammad was about, or one who would be able to see what that person who's a witness, a shahid, in his time for his people. And Imam Muhammad was the one in our time for our people, the African American people, and the people in the Western Hemisphere, and all those who were part of the growth and development of the world. He is a witness for the time. See, so we were blessed to be firsthand, to listen and learn, even if we weren't one of the more a person who was with him often, and we would hear him speak. His casual meeting with us, and just the little things that he might say or do at that time were just beautiful. And this is why it's such a great day we're in now, honoring the works of Imam Muhammad, honoring what he had witnessed and how he bore witness to Allah and his messenger in our time. He brought us from a time period by which the African American people were emerging from a situation here in the Western Hemisphere in North America, where the European American had colonized the Native American here and the rest of the world primarily, and had completely wiped out the African who were brought here to America and who were slaves, made to be slaves, put in enslavement by the European American to build the European American's empire. He had a cotton industry, he had a tobacco industry, all these things were at the hands of the African American people. And the beauty about that is not so much the slavery, but what were the results of the presence of the Africans who were enslaved here. Most times we don't look at that. Most time we look at the brutality. Most time we look at the suffering. And that's, I believe, is the way the European American would like to keep it. I think the European American would like to keep the African American people's attention on the horrible time they had in America and how difficult it was and how difficult it is today and how difficult it will be as long as they are in charge of the government and things of that nature. This is the attitude they want to keep in the African American people. However, the presence of Imam Muhammad is one to be looked at by the African American people as something that occurred that the European American had no intention for it to occur. Even with his educating of the African people, his intent was not to have the African American people to have a Imam Muhammad to come or to be born in their midst. What that actually means, it doesn't rectify what the European American did, but it does lay the ground floor or the groundwork for that which is to come. See, we're still living in a time where the future is not yet here. We're still living in a time where the future has not been birthed yet. See, we're still living in the death of the old world. We're still living in the demise of the world that's been living for hundreds and thousands of years and governed by people who wanted to just rule the world and rule man and have the man be subject to them. Now, this is the time we're living in now. But at that same time, a future is being birthed. And that's future, in order for that future to be birthed, someone had to come with the knowledge and understanding of the world that was dying in order for that world to die. If no one could come and untangle the language of the old world, then the old world will continue to go on. It will continue to keep people enslaved to their way of treating the mentality, a way of treating the mind. But because Allah had blessed, raised up one from amongst us and one from amongst this time in Imam Muhammad, he was able to untangle the language of the old world. He was to untangle the mystics they had. He was to untangle the theories they had, all those ideas about the black and the white, the race and not race, all of those ideas, all the fallacies. The old world is built on so many fallacies, is almost impossible to number them. They just made up things. They made up ways, made up ideas and philosophies and concepts as they went. As something comes up, they would make up some unreal situation. Like Romans and Remus, they were made up, and the Romans say that city of Rome was established by two boys who were raised by wolves. Those are fibs. The Greeks built, had the Greek gods, Jupiter, and so forth and so on. All those are fibs, all those are fallacies. They just made them up. They made them up from the essence from which they found other civilizations developing who may or may not have been completed their thought pattern in terms of ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt is thinking on man was not God, was not completely taken into its fullness. Man was not God, and the pharaohs were not God. That thinking and concept was just coming into play in Egypt with one of the pharaohs by the name of Akhenaten. Akhenaten said, no, man is not God. God is bigger than this. God is bigger than all of this. And he was the first in the history of man to say that man was not God and man was one. I mean, God was one. And this, what they call the monotheist, this believing in one deity, was picked up by a group of people who came and lived in Egypt for 150 years or so. They're known today as the Jewish or the Semitic people of that time. They came out of Northern Africa. Most of them were very dark complected, much darker than myself. They were dark complected. They came in with another warrior group who came in and conquered Egypt, that portion of Egypt. And they took out of that Egypt, they took the knowledge that Akhenaten had come into contact with and was bringing into existence about God being one. They took that, and when they were finally kicked out of Egypt, then they were able to use that knowledge. When they came out of Egypt, they used that knowledge, and they called that knowledge they got from Egypt, they call it Mount Sinai. They call it, when they used the story of Moses as to talk about how they were in Egypt and how Moses freed the slaves. Now, these stories also are in the Quran, but they're in the Quran as a repeat of what's in the Torah and in the Bible, because that had to be untangled in order for it to be straightened out. If that had not been kept in a form that it could be untangled for today, is being untangled today, but it had not been in that tangle, there'd be no way to dismantle the world that they built with those fables and ideas and concepts. But they built it, they used it. This is the people you call the Jewish people, but Imam Muhammad is more specific. He called them the Jacobites. They were the ones of that group who twisted the knowledge and twisted the concept until it got to the point where Thaddeus Josephus, who was a Jew in Rome, he came and started writing books off the Jewish knowledge, which brought in the context of what is now called today the Holy Bible. That Bible was written primarily by Thaddeus Josephus to encourage the Hebrews to worship Pilate or worship the Rome king as a god, as a deity. But they didn't buy into it because their base of their knowledge was based on truth, and the God was not a man, and they would not accept the idea of God, of Pilate being a God. So, but a group of people did accept that, and a group of people who did accept that, we call them now Christians. You find that story in the Bible where it talks about Paul and Peter as they educated some of the they said heathens, but really people who didn't believe in God the way we consider it. But no one believed in God like that at that time. Everyone had these strange beliefs. It was just coming into existence when we look at the Hebrews. And then if we go as far as China, they had some activity there. But what Peter and Paul ran into a group of people who would accept that concept, would accept the idea, and they became Christian. You find that in the book of Revelation in the Bible, where it says, "You are the first to be called Christians." And this was the knowledge that was the
Alhamdulillah.
foundation of the world in
Alhamdulillah.
which we are living now, and
Yes.
and and the world in which we're living now. I didn't know whether
So,
you
Brother
wanted to.
Imam, assalamu alaikum. Yes. So, that was a very good overview. I want you to, today we're going to kind of change the narrative a little bit. I want to know more about your father-in-law, Imam Mufti Muhammad Rahimullah Alayhi. And I don't want to just cut you off without giving you the opportunity to complete your thought. However, I do want more in reference to the legacy of Imam Mufti Muhammad Rahimullah Alayhi, and where do we need to go from here based off of your knowledge and your interactions with him, and as well
Mhm,
as what you have obtained as being an
mhm,
imam of over, what, 30 plus years in this community, and
mhm.
also not just an imam but also a author. And then, if you don't mind, I got a very nice video of some of your cultural expression that you're saying, you're speaking about in terms of history, but as far as your clothing line that you will presenting, will be presenting, we want to ask you
Let
to,
me
if you
call you
can
back.
also share that video before the end of this
Okay, let
um,
me call you back.
presentation,
Yeah.
inshallah. Okay, because that's just top notch. We want to know
Yes.
what your connection is. What do you think we need to go from here?
Hmm.
And how do you interpret moving forward in Imam Mufti Muhammad Rahimahullah's community?
Right. Yeah,
Inshallah. Okay.
that's
Thank you.
I was understood. That's what I understood you wanted, and that's why I was given the information. Because if you don't know what Imam Muhammad was about, if he was about what we're talking about right now, he was about untangling the knots that's in the language, untangling the knots that's in the philosophies and things. If we don't see the difficulty of that, then we don't know really who the man Imam Muhammad was. Because in understanding the difficulty in bringing down a civilization who's has built itself on the basis of lies and fables, and you don't know the answer to those lies and fables, you will never understand that man and his impact that he has on the world as it is. Then that will give you some idea on the direction in which we're headed. If we don't understand those things, it's very difficult to understand where we're headed. If we still think they're just part of a mystical existence, then we will never know which way we're headed. But we can see where we're headed clear once we understand what Imam Muhammad was taking down. If you look at the history of Farad Muhammad, for example, when Imam Muhammad began to take that apart, all those who was there, you understood that he was taking apart something that had been planted in your mind. It had been planted in our mind in a deep way. It planted in our mind to make us believe not only in the fallacy, but to believe that we were God. That's a heavy plant. That's a very difficult thing to unroot. To uproot that, you almost have to kill the person. And if you kill the person in a physical sense and in a mental sense, you can drive them crazy. So Imam Muhammad had a tremendous job. And the first one he took apart so we could understand who he is and what his responsibility was that what we call the Nation of Islam, which was established by Farad Muhammad. That philosophy that the white man was the devil and the black man was God, that philosophy had to be broken down into segments so small that it had to disappear in the hearts and minds of the people in order for them to think properly, in order for them to get a manageable mind that could manage a future, that could manage a new time, a better time. They would have to come out of that kind of thinking. And that's what Imam Muhammad did. He did it and broke it apart. And at the same time, he was breaking apart the Jacobites' thinking and how they've established the world. And and the people who were listening to him and paying attention to him were getting a great deal of knowledge on how they can walk upright again. Because we could not walk upright until Imam Muhammad began to break down that emphasis and those concepts and ideas that came before us. So his legacy, I don't call it his legacy, I call it his works. His works, he's like a teacher. See, a teacher, people who is doing kind of work that he was doing. In order to be called a teacher, the student has to be able to put into practice what he was taught. Now, if we don't put into practice what Imam Muhammad gave us, then I guess we can treat it like a legacy, just treat it like a something we would hang on the wall. But no, we can put that into practice. What he gave us, we can put into practice first by understanding what happened to us, by understanding how we get that kind of thinking out of our mind, by understanding the history of those things that came before us and built the world. You can't bring the world down if you don't know what the world is. So in order to bring the world down, you have to, in order to destroy the world, this is what the scripture calls it, destruction of the world. See, those who don't understand are thinking that some gonna come from outer space and blow the earth up. Those are people who don't understand what the scripture is about, don't understand what Imam Muhammad was explaining. But those who do understand, they know that the world that existed, that had everyone else on their knees, to them is the world that has to be destroyed. And you can't destroy a world of falsehood with falsehood. You have to destroy a world of falsehood with truth. And that's what Imam Muhammad was bringing. And his power that he had, that Allah bless him with, was passed through our thinking, our ability to think those thoughts and bring into action, to bring some light into the darkness. Then we can carry on with the direction in which we're headed. If our minds are still dark with those fables and misled ideas and concepts of the past, then we can't see our way into the future. Then we are asking the question, where we go from here. But
Yes.
But as we clear our minds and understand what Imam Muhammad was bringing to us, then we can see a clear path into the future. And we see the clear path into the future, so we walk in that direction. This is what the Quran says. Those who walk in darkness, we walk in darkness because we have a clear picture. And those who don't have a clear picture, when the lights go out, they stop moving. And when the lights come on back on, they start moving again. We use thunder and lightning in the scripture, but that's what that's talking about. See, so
yes, assalamu alaikum. So alhamdulillah, excellent, thank you. I definitely want you to give us a little bit of information on the building the model communities, because I think that's where everybody's mind is right now. And how do we move forward in that regard? It's by establishing the four birds. And can you explain that tafsir of Imam Muhammad rahimahullah alayh, and how that correlates to building model communities and the connection with the United States of America? Because we definitely have the four birds here. We have business, education, culture, and government. Any healthy institution has those components. So can you give us your reflections, inshallah? Thank you.
Well, we do have to straighten out some of the things in order for us to see straight. There's no problem with our vision, as long as we are correct in our understanding and knowledge. There's no problem with our vision. The concept of the four birds, the way the story goes, and the Quran is clear about that, because it's talking to who? Ibrahim. Ibrahim is the one that the four birds and the situation comes up with. And Allah calls Ibrahim in the Quran, he says, Ibrahim is a ummah. Ibrahim is a ummah. And what does the word ummah mean? It means a community that bears fruit. In other words, it's just like a woman. It's just like a woman who bears a child. A ummah bears a fruit. It makes the individuals who part of that ummah clear and give them a positive self-identification of themselves to move into the future and build the world. That's what the ummah does. So Ibrahim was really, and what it's talking about, Ibrahim is the culture. Ibrahim is the culture, because the culture was the ummah. Culture is a ummah. It's the womb. In the culture, every culture, you have education, you have government, and you have religion, which is in humanities. So you in the humanities have the religion, the way we see life, and all of those things are part of culture. So you're looking at education, business, and government and humanity. Those are the four birds. Culture is the bird, is Ibrahim. Culture is the Ibrahim that when he cut up those four birds, they all came flying back to him. So everything you see about culture, everything you see about science, everything you see about education, and you will trace it back to the culture from which it comes. You can look at the language. You look at language. You trace it back to the culture from which it comes. You know whether it's German, whether it's Spanish, wherever it comes from, you can trace it back. This is why so much emphasis is put on the concept of the place of origin. Place of origin, because the place of origin tells where people are from and their culture. It's two things we inherit. We inherit biological heredity, and we inherit cultural heredity. That's every human being inherit those two things. We can't do anything about the biological heritage unless we do some stuff that they're doing nowadays with the chemicals and changing systems and in the sciences. And the culture, you have a little more influence. You can change your language. You can encourage. You can get a new language if you want to. But so the culture is designed to evolve. The culture is designed to evolve and improve upon the biological existence. Now, when we understand those kinds of things, then it makes it easier for us to start looking at which way we're headed and how we are going to deal with the day, and what are the most important factors about the day relative to the African American people, not just Muslim. Sometimes we get into that thing about, well, we're Muslim. No, this is all people are Muslim, and those who accept Islam become conscious Muslim. Now, that does not exclude the fact that each ethnic group, each race has a responsibility of taking care of itself, of improving upon itself. Allah says He created the cultures. He created the cultures for them to take care of themselves. And that's what we have to do. We are a new people. And if we don't see that clear in our minds today, that we are a new people, we have to continue to go back to the mirror and listen to what Imam Muhammad was talking about. We have to continue to that thought. It's deep in our mind that we are a new people. This is new Africa that's being established. We have to, and if we can't see that, we can't see into the future. We cannot see into the future without understanding who we are. And Imam Muhammad wasn't just making up something when he said that. He wasn't just making up something when he said, we are new people. He had looked into this. He had taken all of his knowledge and all of his energy, and he came away with the fact that we are a new people, that God made us new from the African, from the European, from the Native American here, and then they did a process in America which they call selective breeding, far and beyond any other part of the world that these things are going on. See, so we have to see that. If we don't see that, there's no way to see into the future. There's no way to see the future and what the future has offered for us. But if we see that, then we can see the future. Then we can see that God says He will create a new people to bring in a new time, a new people to bring in a new world, bring in a new order. He will create a people who are not thinking like the old people. He will create a people like Abraham said. When Abraham said to his father, those are old things. Those gods you're making with your own hands. That's not God.
Right.
New knowledge. You can't have a new knowledge if you don't see yourself as a new people. You have to see that. You have to believe that God is powerful enough to create a people anytime He will. And we have to believe that Imam Muhammad was not making a mistake.
Yes,
Not making a mistake. And we should understand that.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Excellent, excellent. We're going to pause for any questions or comments at this time. And if you would mind going ahead and pulling up your video. I know we have limited time with you, but that to me, when I saw it today, was very hopeful. It also talks to the business people in our community, but it also speaks to culture. And then I know my father had one of your suits. Imam Abdul-Azeez had one of your suits. And I just know that they're very, very cultural and ethnic. Well, they have a lot of ethnicity in them, even in the design, and people need to see it for themselves. I think it's a very practical application component of what you're trying to convey here. And you have been consistently talking about culture, consistently talking about connecting with the concept of being a new people and getting in a position where we can move forward by creating a culture within a culture that we can call our own, connecting with that and moving forward, and not so much as looking back on what happened to us. We've embraced that, we acknowledge that, we can't erase that, because of course that makes us who we are today. However, moving forward, we're going to look at what we do have, our strengths, what we overcome, and what we have as far as a group of people, and how we're going to use that to build those model communities. So I'm going to pause for a moment. If you can take and share that. Are you prepared to share that now?
No, I would have to go through my desktop here and see if I can bring that up.
Okay. Do you want, how to get email? Let me see.
Come out of this.
Okay, let me check my email. Listening audience, if you have a question or comment, Imam Shahid Abdullah, very resourceful. He's working on a number of things. He speaks at a lot of government functions. He's one of our senior imams, been there, done that. A senior, 80 years old. We really welcome his time and we respect him in the fact that he's still working fi sabilillah. So we're going to go to 225.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you, Sister Khalidah, and thank you, Imam Shahid. This is Sister Rashida in Louisiana. I just wanted to add a little to that in the comment of us as a people. We were like the elephant. Then we had the elephant syndrome, where if you put the string around the elephant and chain him down, he learned not to move. So coming out of slavery, being colonialized, when they called themselves freeing us, mentally we weren't free, so we wouldn't move. So we began to live the culture and the language of the colonialism of the Europeans. And when Imam Muhammad came along, he struggled to reform us. And we couldn't get it. We didn't see it. A lot of us didn't see it, And he gave us a new language. He gave us a new thought. He gave us a new mind. That's why he said, man is mind. But we couldn't get it. Even to the point of naming us Bilalians in the journal, Bilalian News. We didn't want it. And so we weren't ready. And so when Al-Islam came into us, we have to remember we came out of slavery. And then we went into this freedom we thought we had, but we had Jim Crow, and that restricted us. Then when those people like us came into the Nation of Islam, we went into another level of discipline, but it was control. And that we were still the elephant with the string. And he could leave, but he wouldn't leave because he didn't know to leave. So when we went into Al-Islam with the haqq and the truth and the freedom, and you're responsible for yourself, and this knowledge is worldly, universal, global knowledge. We didn't know what to do. And so Imam was directing and guiding us and telling us and teaching us what to do. And a lot of us didn't get it. And when I heard much earlier, Brother Muhammad was saying 80% of the imams didn't listen or didn't do what he said. Well, imams during that time they affected the community, the Ummah. They were, you know, we were looking for them for leadership in our cities. And because we didn't get the leadership, some of us, in our cities, and we got all this ism, that's what we became, a lot of us. And for those who were searching the truth, they went elsewhere to find the truth. But for those people who just thought, you know, this was it, this is, you know, this is what they became. And it's a struggle getting there, but we still striving and holding on to the rope, alhamdulillah. And but we have to enter this colonial thoughts that we have. We got to get rid of that. And we have to understand Imam's Muhammad language, because that is the only way we can remake the world. I'll stop there.
Well, I agree with some of the things that you've said, but we do have to be mindful of our own power. We have to be mindful of our own power. Imam Muhammad says, some of us understand better than others. He pointed out that all of us are not stupid. He pointed out that all of us are not on that same level that cannot understand what he's saying. He clearly says some people learn better than others. Some people learn faster than others. So those of us who were able to learn what he was saying by and meant by we are new people, then we responded in that way. And those who of us didn't understand that, they responded in the way they understood. So they do need more assistance in terms of coming along that language line. See, Imam Muhammad language wasn't an invention. He just cleared up the mystics. He just cleared up the concepts and ideas that were out there that kept people in knots. He untangled the knots. That's what he did. He made darkness look like light. It wasn't a big thing for him because he was evolving into it. He was evolving into it every minute of his life. And that evolving kept producing other people who would, if they just accepted it, if they just did what Allah says in the Quran, he said, all you have to do is believe. See, the biggest problem is people don't believe. If they believe,
yes,
if they believe, then they will automatically begin to conform to that's what they're asked to believe. When Imam Muhammad says we are a new people, there shouldn't be no question about that. We didn't, what slavery did to us was not enough to stop us. That's another thing that European American teaches us, that we were stopped by slavery. So we feel this syndrome going on today in our behavior. That is a lie. That is a lie, because we have proof that after the Revolutionary War, we started building businesses. After the Civil War, we started building. We built Black Wall Street and all these other things after slavery. How do we do that if slavery was so damaging to our people? We became the fastest group of people in the whole world that went from illiteracy to literate. Nobody learned to read as fast as we did in abundance. Today, our women have more degrees, and especially master's degrees, than any other group of people. This is all a fallacy. It's all a fallacy to keep us thinking that we're weak. And we're not weak. We are strong if we accept that what Allah has created. If we accept Allah as the creator, and he has created a people to bring the world into a better understanding, then we will be fine. We would be fine. We don't have to fear that. We stop fearing that we're lost. Stop fearing that we don't have the knowledge. Stop fearing that we have everything we need, and Allah proved it when he raised one of us up to teach the rest of us. And he didn't give us a language that we couldn't understand. He just straightened out knots. He just straightened out. We didn't have the understanding at that time, because he was dealing with people who just came out of a form of enslavement by their own people in the Nation of Islam. See, it wasn't just the European American doing the slave on the plantation. When we got into the Nation of Islam, and those of you who was part, you know what that was. Now you know what it was. Didn't know what it was then. I was part of it and glad to be part of it. One of the ones that stood an instant when he said 10 shot, I was up. Sold newspapers, all of that.
Yes.
But that because I believed it. But it was a form of slavery. When Imam Muhammad came, he
Yes.
took the slave shackles off of us, from the ones that the European American was putting on us and the one that the black people was putting on us. He took blackness out of our thinking. We shouldn't even call ourselves black no more. Nobody who came through Imam Muhammad's thing should be calling us black anymore and calling the European American white. We should get those racist terms out of our thinking, out of our language. That's improving the language. Want to improve the language? Stop using things to keep us burdened with these ideas and these concepts. We just look at the reality of what Imam Muhammad talked about and what he gave us and live it. We don't have to worry about this is what we're going to do. Live. That's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to educate ourselves, continue to use our human capital. And that's another beautiful thing. Now, when they use the term human capital, we'll talk about that on another time, but we need to know what that is and need to know why that's so important to us, because we have an abundance of human capital. We have abundance of skills, knowledge, all this kind of abundance of it. This is why people are asking us to come to Africa. This is why they bring us to other countries and other places to use our human capital. This is what America used for hundreds of years and still uses it today. We are their CEOs and their companies because we had that skill. Now, if we use that skill for our own development with this $1.7 trillion of income each year, be no stopping us. We have to believe. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe that Allah created us.
Alhamdulillah. Yes. And that is so inspirational, because we do, as a people, we need to come up, like the young adults say, come up in every aspect of life. We don't want to be at the bottom, period. So let me go ahead and play. Brother Muhammad Sharif has his hands up. If you don't mind, Brother Sharif, do you have a moment for me to play this short video first, or do you need to go right now?
Yes, go on, Sister Khalidah. You got it.
Okay. All right. So this is our designer that we're looking at right here. He's so multifaceted. And like he said, we have a lot of creative minds, a lot of PhDs in our community. We have money in our community. So we have people who are just family oriented. It doesn't take a PhD to build a community, but we need everybody. No big eyes, no little U's. Everybody is going to take a village. So let's look at another aspect of Imam Shahid Abdullah, inshallah.
Yes.
I have it on my desktop. I don't know if you can see it on my desktop. There we go. If this is, can you see it on my desktop?
Not hearing anyone.
You're not hearing?
We're not hearing anything.
Okay. Well, I have it running on this side. If you can share your screen with me.
Okay, so I can hear it. Let me try it again. I got that email from you earlier, and I'm trying to play it from that email, but okay, hold on a second. Inshallah, I'll move this over. This is a weird computer. It says also share system audio. We did that. So let's try it again. Okay. And now, where is the video? I have to go back into this.
Can you see it? Or hear it?
Hear you, brother Imam, and I do see your sharing picture on there. Alhamdulillah.
Sewing together our history like a seamster.
Okay. Were you able to see part of it?
Where
Assalamu alaikum.
Or like my son?
Whew. I don't know what was going on with this video. I heard it. Did you guys not hear it? Imam, were you not able to
Yes.
hear it?
Yes.
We didn't hear.
You didn't hear
Yes.
any of it?
No.
They
Well,
didn't hear it. That is so weird. Imam,
well,
did you share yours? Could you share
yes,
yours
I
then?
was sharing mine, but I wasn't sure it was how much I was sharing because I had to go in another way. And
And I have it
as
right here in an email, but but anyway, I think they get the gist of it. It's very nice. You need to hear the music though. What you really need to hear the music. Okay, what's
well,
going
perhaps
on?
we'll set it up the next time we're on. You can
Okay,
play
okay.
it.
Thank you so much for joining us. We definitely want to go to our caller. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Muhammad Sharif. Are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
You can go ahead at this time. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, so my question is, I won't waste any time. Who is educating our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren? Most of our own community, most of our children are grown. That's why I'm focusing on our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. And I asking the question, who is educating them? A lot of us in our 60s, 70s, 80s we may, some of us, not all, some of us, we may get past, I said the next 5, 10 years, but very few of us probably going to be around after 10 years. And our children now, 7, 8 years old, we will all be gone. So all they will have is the colonialism they are being taught, and we know what they're being taught in the private schools, in the charter schools. They are being taught what we were taught. Jesus is God and the Son of God. They are not going to hear nothing concerning Islam. And I'm looking at the last issue of Muslim Journal newspaper to realize and do for self. Grand opening New Africa Marketplace in Norfolk, Virginia. This is an excellent issue. We should get this issue. Tell them about the new marketplace. And we should have a place like that, at least one business effort or marketplace in every city. At least one in every city. Right now we have very few. And it's the same issue. They have some students, look like they are under 7, 8, 10 years old. They are reading the Muslim Journal. And now our grandchildren and great-grandchildren that are not being exposed to the Muslim Journal newspaper, they're going to be so far ahead of our grandchildren and great-grandchildren that they don't even know anything about this paper. The paper doesn't come to their home. Their people, their parents and all leaders are not even getting the Muslim Journal, not the perfect paper copy, not going online. So our future is being taught by somebody else. Thank you for my comments.
Mm-hmm. You are.
So I leave the question out there. What is going to happen to our children and great-grandchildren? They are not going to hear Islam. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
That's a good question. However, the question is easier to answer, really, than it was to ask, because education begins in the home, and each parent, and we should talk with our great-grandchildren who are now having children, or grandchildren who are having children, that they need to begin their education of their child in their home, even if he's going to public school or she's going to public school. Each parent, that's the responsibility of the parent, to educate their own children. In fact, that's one of the meanings of a school system, taking the place of the parent, of educating the child. So we have to condition our people to respect education. So much so that if the school was the best school in the world, they still would want to have hands-on education of their own child. That's where the problem is. It's not so much in the establishment of the schools themselves. The problem is that the respect for education that each of us should have, that we take the time out to educate our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren, and get them with the same inspiration to educate their own child. We don't forget about, and when I mean forget about, I mean put on hold. I don't mean don't think about. Put on hold the idea that we're waiting for the school system to educate our children. We have to educate our children ourselves, teaching them to read at a very early age. When they're 1 year old, 2 years. I see people on these social medias teaching their kids to dance. Kids almost could stand on top of their head, not even 2, 3 years old, learning to do things that they're not going to really yield to grow the greatest growth in intellect. If they would teach their children to read, and I don't know whether they're not because they're on TV, so I'm not saying they're not, but if we're doing that, then it surely would show up in any system they would enter. If we're teaching our children to read at ages 2 and 3 years old, then when they go into kindergarten in any public school or wherever, they're already ahead of the game. What we would have to do is keep eyes on the content that they're feeding our children. In other words, the type of books that they're reading. And we're in charge of that. See, we have to take charge of these things. We're paying taxes, and yet we're letting somebody else make the decisions about what kind of books our children are going to read. We can put together committees to look at the kinds of books that's coming into our school system where predominantly are African American people. We have to do that. Now we don't have the heart to do that or the courage to do that. So that means we still may be a little leery of what we believe the European can do to us. We don't believe we are full citizens like he is or she is. Once we know we're equal citizens and we're doing the same thing that they are doing, which is educating their children. And they're making sure the right books get into school for their children. And this is what we have to do. And we have to put people in office who are willing to do that. If they're not willing to do that, we run somebody else in office. And when they start seeing the power, the voting power that we have, they will start complying with some of these things where the majority of the children are African American, and especially those areas where the majority of the children are African American children in that community. We shouldn't even have any problem with that. That's on us. Don't look for it to be on somebody else. Don't wait for the European American to come and walk us down the aisle to educate our children. That's our responsibility. And once we take that on our responsibility, then we put that same kind of pressure on other people who are involved with our children, that they must educate them on our level, up to our standards. So we got to do that. And I know it's hard for some of us to take this, but that's the reality. People educate their own children all over the world. All over the world, they educate their own children. I hope that answers the question a little bit. I know Brother Muhammad has usually, a lot of questions in that area, but he's right. But we've got to be the one to do it. Sister Khalidah. I don't see Sister Khalidah. Let me see what's going on here. I'm not looking at the screen, so I don't know who have the hands up or anything.
Imam Shahid, I had lowered
Yes.
my hand, but it looked like we lost Sister Khalidah. Looked like we lost her.
Oh yeah, I see people on the board.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I can't hear him.
You can't hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you now. We're going to transition from, we're going to go ahead and watch a video of Imam Wali Muhammad, Rahimahullah Alayh. Was there any more questions or comments that we wanted to address before we left?
I'm going to have to, because I had another engagement.
Yes,
So
you told me. Yes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. Give us a closeout. Can you give us a closing statement and close us out with a dua, please?
Okay. I want to close on the statement that Brother Muhammad was talking about. That's the closeout, really. We got to educate our own children, and we cannot waste no time with it. We can't even get into discussions about maybe we should go down to the school and no. Our children are our responsibility. We can't be so busy and can't be working so many jobs that we don't educate our own children. We must do that, and that would be our gift to the future, educating our children. So I just want to close out pretty much with
Yes.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Sister Khalidah.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
Thank
wa
you, Imam.
barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
All right.
Walaikum
Thank
assalam.
you. Thank you so much, Brother Muhammad Sharif, for those excellent comments. And we are going to move along and play a video of Imam Muhammad Rahim Allah Alay. Yes, yes, I am gonna be
Sister Khalidah, we hear nothing, so we don't know if you're going off or on.
Yeah, we don't hear anything, Khalidah. Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, maybe her call is dropped.
Walaikum assalam, Brother Muhammad. Look, I guess they done forgot about us.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like the way it looks like she it dropped off.
Huh.
I knew Imam Shahid said he had to go to another engagement, another appointment. So, Lisa, she's going to put a lecture on by Imam W.D. Muhammad, but we're not hearing anything. Look like I can only see four people on now. You, Rashida, me, I see AMC 60. That's probably Khalilah, but we can't hear anything from her.
Hmm. His mouth is on.
Oh, you see Martha?
No, I don't. I was saying I wondered if she is on.
Mm. Well, I guess we just have to hold on a little bit longer, a little more patience. Yeah, because we are still trying to learn this new technology.
Oh, yes.
And those that's in control of the new technology, they've already trained people to handle this. But we are new at it, and we haven't gotten it, and we are not in control. They're control, they can knock us out anytime they get ready.
Yes.
I don't have Khalidah's contact, so I can't call her. Maybe if you have it, then you give her a call and let her know that we don't hear anything.
Okay. Let me see if I got it. Hmm.